When it comes to racing, names like Andretti, Petty, and Earnhardt jump to the top of the list. I was a kid in the 60s, and I was fortunate to watch my dad race against Mario Andretti. So I'm excited to be in Pennsylvania's Lehigh Valley, known for the cement and steel industry, where the foundation for one of racing's legendary careers was built and became a shining example of the American dream. Petty and Andretti, side by side again, on this edition of Dinner Drive. I'm Kyle Petty, race car driver, musician, speed enthusiast. I know where I found my passions in life, but I'm always curious about where others found theirs. And I've figured out over the years, the best way to get to know someone better is over a little food. So I'm hitting the road to catch up with some friends to hear their life stories, and you're invited. So pull up a seat and join us for this edition of Dinner Drive. All right, man. I hope he's home. Oh, he is home. How's it going, man? It is great to see you. Great to see you.
Looks like you found me.
I found you. I always love coming up here. You know that. Thanks, man. Wow. This room takes my breath away no matter how many times I see it. I know these aren't all of your trophies. These have got to be some of your special ones.
They're all special, but you probably recognize this maybe a little bit better. Start with the Daytona 500, as you could see, the Governor Cup, and then and I'll tell you the story about what's important also, the Italian Grand Prix 77.
Yes.
And that's right there.
Wow.
In 78, actually, I crossed the line first, with Gilles Villeneuve second, but we both got penalized. And Nicky Lauda was third, so he got the trophy, and he didn't want to keep it, so he gave it to me. So I got the trophy, but not the money.
Not the money, but the trophy. I love that.
Right,
I love that.
Let me show you the other part.
All right.
When you win Indianapolis, obviously it's a huge Borg Warner trophy,
Oh, yeah.
Which is obviously, it stays there. But, and the winners, at the beginning, used to get a plaque.
Just a plaque.
Just a plaque. And it's representative, at least it's more of a trophy rather than just a plaque. On a personal level, even from the standpoint of what my dad would have always, he would have been so proud of all the racing. But I received the title of Commendatore in Italy, which is basically it's like a knighthood in England. So again, there's a lot of pride here.
That's
and
amazing.
Like I said, my dad probably would just gone bananas over this, So.
That's so cool, man. All this other stuff is for a day. That's for a lifetime of work. Listen, I love this area of your house, I'm not gonna lie, but I love downstairs. I'm ready. I'm ready to see some downstairs.
Now, I told you about Indy trophy, right? This is the plaque.
Wow.
But Andy Granatelli thought that we needed something bigger.
That's not an Andy Granatelli-sized trophy
No,
right there.
it's not. So he had this made for me.
Wow.
And it was supposed to be my weight and height.
Oh, no way. No way. That's
So you
Andy,
can see,
over the top.
That's Andy.
Over the top, man.
Yep.
Over the top.
But
I remember him when I was a little boy.
But I got my baby Borg upstairs, so
Yeah.
I'm quite happy.
So
we're
should
good.
be. You should be. I know you've been in love with the automobile since the very beginning. So tell me a story about a car that you fell in love with.
The first American car.
In
And
Italy.
In Italy.
Yes.
I didn't know what it was. This was right after the war, like 1946. And here it was a beautiful blue car, and it turned out to be, I didn't know then, it was a 46 Ford.
It had
So
some
when we
style.
came to America, we go shopping for a car, a used car, of course, and I was like, oh, I gotta find, and I didn't know what it was, I said, I gotta find that car. And a used car lot, we looked, and there it was.
Wow.
46 Ford, blue, beautiful shape, and that was our first car here in America.
That is a classic American car.
American.
That would be a nice car to still have.
Indeed,
Yeah.
I wish I had it,
Indeed.
but honestly, yeah. And now let me show you what I do have, the cars that I actually really like. This is the last car that I drove in my very last race in IndyCar at Laguna Seca, 1994. And I figured I've been offered some cars that I won races, like even the World Championship car, you know, but I was too busy. So I said, I would like to have that car. And I said, leave it the way it is, dirty and all that. Instead, the mechanics, they wanted to just make it race ready, just in case.
Just in case.
And so I have a fresh engine in there and everything. So there it is. And so this is our show car now, but it's got something very special for me, obviously.
Listen, I've seen your trophies, all your memorabilia, now the ultimate piece of memorabilia, your own race car from your last race. Tell you what I'd like to see, some lunch. Would you be willing to take me to lunch?
Oh, yeah. You can sit here and now, yeah. Okay.
I've seen you ride here on Michael's car, so yeah, I know I can hang on.
When I look back in my life, you know, I'm a perfect example of the American dream as it could ever have. Salute. Salute. Ding. There you go.
This wins. You guys win.
It's good.
Way ahead. Take me back to that time when your story starts.
Well, it's a very unconventional upbringing because after the war was annexed to Yugoslavia. Italy lost the war, and they had to give up territory there, and we wound up in Lucca in Tuscany, in a refugee camp there. We were there from 48 to 55. My brother Aldo and I, we were drawn to the sport, to motor racing. I always say the mold was cast then, you know, like the dream began. Oh my goodness, you know, that's where I want to be.
Yes.
We had an uncle on my mother's side here that lived right in Nazareth, where I live now. He said, why don't you come to America, you know? So my dad, in 1952, applied for visas. He said, well, kids, you know, I'm thinking of your future. He said, I'm thinking of you guys, you know, Aldo, Anna Maria, you know, my older sister. And we'll go to America, and maybe in 5 years we come back.
So you were only going to stay 5 years?
That's how he broke the news to us.
Mario Andretti was only going to stay in America 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was relentless. He was basically animated by the fact that, you know, I'm taking care of the family. And to be honest with you, like I said, we were always well-dressed. We were not gypsies, you know? Nevertheless, we had the pride, my parents did.
I mean, you're in Italy, you get on a ship, you disembark here. How different was Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and where you settled than where you came from?
As kids, for us, it was never a barrier. We arrived in June, but immediately by September, obviously, you know, we're in school, you know? And then the first day of school, you know, the first hour, homeroom. I said, oh my God, I love America, you know? We never had, you know, a homeroom thing, you know, in Italy. You know, we were there, you know, our curriculum was 8 hours a day, 8:30 to 12:30 and 2 to 6.
Wow.
And then on Friday, 8:30 to 12, 2 to 5. On Saturday, 8:30 to 12:30.
Wow.
And here I said, oh my God, I love America. This was really a piece of cake. To blend in and so on and so forth, for us was not an issue whatsoever.
So many negatives had come into your life, but suddenly there was this big positive. Is that the way your whole family looked at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, and here I am in America?
This is when everything opened up as far as opportunities. And my dad, without even really knowing, he was saying, we're going to America, you know, to create opportunities for your future. At the end of the day, when I look back at my life, you know, I'm a perfect example of the American dream as you could ever have. I mean, Aldo and I, we started building a race car 2 years after we arrived there at age 17.
You come to Nazareth, and then the next thing I know, you discover the dirt track in Nazareth. How different was the dirt track of Nazareth from the Grand Prix of Italy?
You know, when we left Italy, Aldo and I were saying, oh no, you know, racing, because we had somehow our plan, we're gonna start racing motorcycles. Anyway, we arrived here and on a Thursday in June, And so the racing season was in full swing, and that they used to have races at the fairgrounds Sunday night. And we see lights in the background and a big explosion of noise. Ooh, Aldo and I looked at each other. We booked, we followed the noise. 2 years later, we started building a car.
Yeah.
And we were underage, because you had to be 21 in those days to race.
No way.
To race professionally, yes. And we sent for race uniforms from Italy, the Sala Sport.
Oh no! So
I
you
said
had
with all the
uniforms.
zippers and everything. Yeah, I had white. Aldo had blue. The bottom line is we had to fake our way in because we got to know the promoter, Jerry Freed. And, but he says, kids, I said, no, we used to race in Italy.
Is that where that legend come from? Because that's the legend that you raced in Italy before you came here.
Yeah, I know.
Was it from the uniforms?
Yeah, but we had to say something. We had to say, but they used to look at us, oh, these kids from Italy, they have all the experience.
Yeah, yes,
and,
that's good.
Anyway, you had to do what you had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you did. You did. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get our main course here because I am ready to eat, but I've got to find out what your dad thought about you guys racing.
My dream, Kyle, was just to be a race driver and make a living to be a race driver. I said, no, I don't want to be a race driver and have a side job, So I said, I gotta make some moolah, I gotta make some money so I can feed the family.
Oh man, I thought we had already had the main course. That wasn't the main course? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Oh my goodness. I am so glad you brought me here.
Yeah, I'm so glad you ordered the same thing I did.
Hey, listen, when in Nazareth, do as Mario does. That's the way it works. You come to my town, we'll have fried chicken and cheeseburgers, okay? That's it. We've got you to Nazareth and you're racing. But people begin to tell your dad how good you and Aldo are doing, but tell me that story.
Simply, my dad was, only knew about racing was the bad news, which was too prominent. Starting in Italy. Alberto Ascari, my idol, was killed in Monza just before we arrived to America. Yes. And then all he said is, you know what, okay, you like racing, but you're crazy type of thing. And so Aldo and I didn't dare even try to convince him and tell him, that we were building this car.
Yes.
So first race comes along and coin toss because one race car, two drivers, one helmet. That's all we could afford. Aldo wins the toss. Honest. He starts last in the heat because, obviously we had no background. So,
yeah.
You qualify just in the heats. So, and he wins the heat.
Wow.
$25.
First race.
First race. You could cash right away. And the feature started 29th. And I figured he's gonna just ride. Boom, passing cars. He wins the feature.
Wow. First night out.
Yes, $125. So, first race, $150 in the bank. Following weekend, I had to do the same thing, and I did. And we were able to keep it, keep it a secret throughout until the last race of the season, which was in Hatfield, Pennsylvania. And Aldo was running our car. In the qualifying heat, he was trying to overtake Freddie Adams, who was actually the track champion. And he hooked the guardrail coming off of turn 2, end over end, and came out, with the fracture skull.
Yes. Yeah.
So he was in a coma and everything else. So they gave him his last rites that night at the hospital. That said, my dad obviously felt vindicated. See, told you guys and this and that. And you figure, okay, it's all over.
Yeah.
Following year, we're 21. But then my dad obviously realized, okay, well, I'm not going to stop them. Now they're 21. And he would ask me, how's Aldo doing?
Yeah.
Then he'd go to Aldo and said, how's Mario doing?
Yeah.
So, and then later on, he obviously, he became a big fan. But that's the story.
That's good.
How we dodged, we dodged and we came away alive.
Yes. Between 67 and 1969, you win the Daytona 500, you win Sebring, the 12 Hours of Sebring. You attempt a Formula One race and set on the pole, your very first Formula One race. And in 69, you win the Indianapolis 500. And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I want to be Mario Andretti. What was that time in your career going from different disciplines? What was that time like?
My first season, full season in '65, I won the championship that year, you know, as the youngest driver to win that.
Yeah.
And then the following year, to back it, I won another championship there. The bottom line is, I was curious.
Yes.
You know, you got guys that come like A.J. Foyt, you know, from Indy cars, and Parnelli Jones, and then Dan Gurney, you know, they're winning, and they're really doing their job in stock cars too. Hey, I want to try stock cars too, you know. So, and I was getting those opportunities, you know, to do that, and with top equipment, which is, you know, that's what you need.
Yes.
My dream, Kyle, was just to be a race driver and make a living to be a race driver. I said, no, I don't want to be a race driver and have a side job, you know. So I said, I gotta make some moolah, you know, I gotta make some money so I can feed the family, you know, take care of the family.
Exactly.
And and that's it.
You talked about you and Aldo starting, and then your dad. What was it like when Michael and Jeff came along to watch your sons? And then you could empathize with your father and say, oh, that's what you felt.
It's a double-edged sword,
Yeah.
as you know. You know that very well.
Oh, yes.
But, I mean, they were brought up in this environment. I figure it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But Deanne, poor Deanne, you know, she said, oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Now I got two more out there.
That's right.
And, you know, I didn't sympathize with her then because, you know, when you're on the track, like if you're doing it yourself, you almost feel like I have some control. You know, we're okay. We know what we're doing. But when you're on the sidelines, just like after I come out of the cockpit and watching them do it, it's a totally different story. Like, you know, like now, I can't watch the start.
Yeah.
Or if I look at the engineers, see what reaction they have at the start.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't watch it. You know, I'm the nervous Nelly, you know, it's that typical.
Yeah. You guys, you and Michael and Jeff, and then John, Aldo's son. In '91, there's a great photo of all of you guys making the 500. That's amazing to think it's '91. Okay, so it's only a short 20 or 30 years since you landed here. How special is that moment?
My brother Aldo, you know, obviously he had a couple of accidents where he did not really complete his career. So he was living through John and myself, you know, basically. And, you know, Aldo was so, you know, just behind him. And that was wonderful for me just to see how much satisfaction he was getting out of that, even just by being out of the cockpit himself. He was just a big cheerleader for all of us. And John certainly carried the colors, you know, for him. So again, as a family, we were like at Indy, you know, make that race and for the same family. It's never happened before or since, you know, which is something, okay, it could happen. But as a family, you know. It's
amazing.
Well, you know, that's it. You could tell we live and breathe the sport.
I want to ask you about Marco. You think it's over with those two, and then here comes another one.
Here comes another one. And Marco has is one of the twins whose name is Mario, but it's Rio. They call him Rio. And he's already in the go-kart.
Oh, no way.
But he's only about 6. And Michael is trying to get him to complete a full lap. He goes like heck, you know, for a half a lap, then he rests.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, Michael says, I'm going testing with Rio. He's in a go-kart. He said, but I can't get him to do a full lap.
Oh, that's good.
I think 9 years of age is usually the key factor. And that's when Marco, you know, starting go-karts, you know, here you go, and, you know, winning and doing all these things and winning through the ranks, you know, and the Indy lights and all that. And you know, he's been trying really hard, you know, to just do his job, so.
Your father, you leave everything behind. You go to a refugee camp, you come to America. He passed away at 90 years old in '99. Half his life he lived in this country. What do you think he thought of what the Andretti name had become to motorsports in America, to motorsports worldwide, and what it represented?
My dad was a very proud man, you know. His chest was out to here, believe me. Because there's so many good things in that respect, you know, that was happening, that were happening to us. And, you know, and there was, I knew that he shared into this, in the satisfaction of it all. there were so many things that that were happening the right way that, you know, that I know that he was just, you know, was making him just happy and proud as what else could you ask for, you know?
Yeah.
Like it vindicated, oh my goodness, I'm sure glad that I decided to come to America.
Listen, as always, thank you, man. Thank you
Cheers,
for another
my friend.
great conversation, dude. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Man, what a great meal. And as always, it's great spending time with Mario. But I can't come to Nazareth without going to one of my most favorite places on earth. And I'll take you there when we come back on Dinner Drive. Man, my trip to Nazareth wouldn't be complete without stopping by Martin Guitar. It's just around the corner from Mario's house, and you can tour the museum and the factory. As a musician myself, this place has always been pretty special to me. Martin Guitars has been family owned and operated since 1833. These babies were played around the campfire by Civil War soldiers. They also found their way to the stage at Woodstock and have been played by guys like Elvis Presley all the way to the great Willie Nelson. You know his guitar, everybody knows his guitar. I really enjoyed my day here in Nazareth. It's always great when you get to spend a day with a childhood hero. Mario Andretti came to the United States from Italy in the 1950s with a dream to race. He seized the opportunity that was given him and became arguably the most versatile race car driver ever to set in any kind of race car all over the world. Now I'm on my way home, and I can't wait to see where this journey takes me on the next episode of Dinner Drive.